Girl rescues unloved German shepherd from market. You won't believe what happens. Amid the hustle and bustle of a busy market, a young German shepherd, clearly neglected, catches the attention of a 5-year-old girl. The dog appears sad and unloved, and the girl pleads with her mother to help save him. What happens next is truly remarkable. On a bright Saturday morning, 5-year-old Emily wandered through the bustling market alongside her parents when her eyes fell on a large German shepherd tied to a post near a corner stall. Her mother, Victoria, noticed Emily's gaze and followed it to the dog. With a sigh, she recognized her daughter's natural sensitivity toward animals in need. "Okay, sweetie, we can go take a look, but stay close to me," she said. As they drew nearer, Emily crouched a few feet from the dog. "Hi there, boy," she whispered, gently reaching out her hand. The dog sniffed cautiously at the air, its ears twitching slightly in response. Emily edged a little closer. "You seem so sad. It's okay, I'm here now." Victoria observed her daughter attentively. Emily always had an uncanny connection with animals, but this dog appeared particularly vulnerable. "Emily, be careful," Victoria warned. "He might be feeling scared." The little girl nodded, but her focus stayed on the dog. She noticed a vendor nearby who seemed to be the owner. The man was busy attending to customers and paid little attention to the dog. Emily stood up and approached him. "Excuse me, sir, is this your dog?" The vendor glanced at her briefly, then nodded and said the dog was no good, that nobody wanted him. He was just taking up space. Emily's heart sank. "May I pet him?" she asked. The man gave a nonchalant shrug. Emily turned back to the dog, carefully extending her hand to stroke his fur. To her amazement, the dog didn't shy away. Instead, he leaned into her touch, his tail giving a faint wag. Emily smiled. She knew a connection was forming. Over the next few weeks, Emily and her parents visited the market regularly. Each time, she spent time with the dog. She named him Thor, and with each visit, their bond grew stronger. Thor seemed to recognize Emily, his eyes lighting up whenever he saw her. Her parents noticed the growing attachment and began to discuss the possibility of bringing the dog home. They knew it wouldn't be easy. Thor needed medical attention and a lot of care, but they couldn't ignore Emily's unwavering determination to help him. Finally, after much discussion, they approached the vendor with an offer to take Thor home. The man seemed eager to be rid of what he called a useless dog, and he agreed readily. Emily's heart soared. She gently unchained Thor and led him to their car. "You're coming home with us," she whispered softly. On the ride back, Emily sat close to the dog, her hand gently stroking his fur. He rested his head on her lap, a quiet gesture of trust and comfort. Emily had rescued a neglected dog from the market, but little did she know that Thor was about to reveal just how remarkable their bond would become. Bringing the dog home was just the beginning of a brand new journey for Emily and her family. While the initial joy of rescuing the dog filled their hearts, they soon realized the challenges that lay ahead. Thor, with his matted fur and visible ribs, had endured a tough life, and it showed in his behavior. At first he was skittish and wary of his new surroundings. He flinched at sudden movements and loud noises, and he cowered when adults tried to pet him. Emily spent every possible moment with him. She would sit by his side and read books, or simply talk to him about her day. Her tiny size seemed to put him at ease. Slowly, the dog began to show signs of trust. He leaned into her hand when she petted him and started following her around the house. But his behavior was still unpredictable, so the family decided to seek professional help. They reached out to a local animal behaviorist, Dr. Lewis Taylor, who specialized in working with traumatized dogs. Dr. Taylor came to their home and carefully observed Thor's actions and demeanor. "This dog has endured significant hardship," she said thoughtfully. "His erratic behavior stems from the trauma he's experienced in the past. What he needs now is a stable environment, patience, and consistent training to rebuild his sense of security." She provided them with a training plan emphasizing positive reinforcement and gradual exposure to new experiences. The training was slow and required a lot of patience. There were days when Thor showed progress and responded well to commands. He even sometimes played fetch with Emily. But there were also setbacks. Thor would growl or snap if he felt cornered or threatened, though he was never aggressive toward the little girl. One day, while playing in the yard, he approached Emily with a ball in his mouth, his tail wagging like a propeller. It was the first time he had initiated play, and Emily's heart soared with joy. She threw the ball, and Thor chased after it, barking happily. Victoria and John watched from the porch. The journey to rehabilitate their dog was far from over, but the family's unwavering commitment was starting to pay off. As weeks turned into months, Thor's behavior steadily improved. Emily's boundless patience and unconditional love began mending the emotional scars from his past. One bright afternoon, she was playing in the yard, her laughter ringing through the air. Thor joyfully chased after a ball, his tail wagging with newfound happiness. From the porch, Victoria and John sat sipping iced tea, a sense of calm washing over them as they watched. In that moment, they couldn't help but marvel at how far their beloved dog had come. As Thor settled into his new home, the family worked tirelessly to help him adjust. They set up a cozy corner in the living room with a soft bed, toys, and a blanket. At first, Thor preferred the quiet corners of the house, often hiding under the table or curling up in the hallway. Emily, ever patient, would sit near him, reading her favorite books aloud or singing softly. Her gentle presence became a source of comfort for Thor, and gradually he began to emerge from his shell. Victoria and John researched everything they could about rehabilitating a traumatized dog. They reached out to local rescue groups, watched training videos, and even joined an online community of dog owners who had gone through similar experiences. They learned to recognize Thor's triggers, loud noises, sudden movements, and certain scents, and adjusted their home to make him feel safe. They installed baby gates to limit his exposure to crowded spaces, and they introduced new experiences gradually, allowing Thor to approach them at his own pace. Emily's room became Thor's favorite place in the house. She decorated a corner with soft pillows and blankets, dubbing it Thor's Den. She even created a hand-drawn sign with his name, surrounded by hearts and paw prints. At night, she would read him bedtime stories, her soft voice easing him into sleep. Over time, the once nervous dog began to relax. He started sleeping with his belly exposed, a clear sign of trust, and his tail, once tucked between his legs, now rested calmly on the floor. One rainy afternoon, Emily was painting by the window, creating a colorful scene of a dog and a girl under a rainbow. Thor sat beside her, his head resting on her knee. Victoria walked in, her heart swelling at the sight. She snapped a photo, capturing the quiet bond between her daughter and the dog. This photo would later become a cherished memory, a testament to the healing power of love and patience. As Thor's confidence grew, so did his playful side. He began engaging in games of fetch with Emily. his initial hesitation replaced by enthusiastic leaps and wagging tails. John crafted a makeshift agility course in the backyard, using hula hoops, cones, and pool noodles. Emily guided Thor through the course, using treats and praise to encourage him. His transformation was nothing short of remarkable. Where he once cowered, he now faced challenges head-on, his eyes bright with anticipation. The family celebrated every milestone. When Thor learned to sit on command, they threw a small party with dog-friendly treats and a handmade "Good Boy" banner. When he barked at the doorbell without retreating, they shared the news with friends and family. Each step forward was a victory, not just for Thor, but for the entire family. One evening, as the family sat around the dinner table, Victoria suggested creating a scrapbook documenting Thor's journey. Emily's eyes lit up, and she eagerly gathered photos, drawings, and snippets of stories. Together they crafted pages filled with memories. Thor's first bath, his first walk in the park, his first time playing with other dogs. The scrapbook became a symbol of their shared story, a story of rescue, resilience, and redemption. However, not every day was filled with progress. There were setbacks, days when Thor reverted to old fears, when a loud noise sent him scrambling under the bed, or when a stranger's approach made him growl. On those days, Emily would sit with him, her small hand resting on his back, offering comfort. "It's okay, Thor," she would whisper. "I'm here. We'll get through this together." Her unwavering support anchored Thor, helping him navigate the rough patches. The community began to notice the change in Thor as well. Neighbors who had once avoided the skittish dog now greeted him with smiles and gentle pets. Children in the neighborhood asked if Thor could join them at the park, and he soon became a beloved figure during playdates. Emily took pride in showing off his new tricks: sit, stay, and even a playful rollover. Thor's transformation from a neglected market dog to a cherished companion was nothing short of miraculous. As the local pet fair approached, Emily and her family prepared Thor for his big debut. They practiced daily, setting up mini agility courses in the yard. Victoria sewed a bandana for Thor, a bright blue fabric with his name embroidered in yellow thread. On the day of the event, Thor strutted through the fair with a newfound confidence, his head held high and his tail wagging steadily. During the agility demonstration, Thor shined. He moved through the course with precision and speed, his years of pent-up energy channeled into every leap and sprint. The crowd erupted in applause as he crossed the finish line, and Emily knelt beside him, wrapping her arms around his neck. It was a moment of pure joy, a celebration of how far they had come together. After the competition, a local journalist approached the family. She had heard about Thor's story and wanted to feature him in the community newspaper. Emily shared their journey from the first day in the market to the triumph at the pet fair. The article, titled "From Forgotten to Fearless, Thor's Journey of Hope," was published with photos of Emily and Thor, their bond evident in every frame. The story touched hearts across the community, inspiring others to consider adopting rescue animals and offering them a second chance. Despite their growing sense of security, the threat of the previous owner loomed. The man's persistent harassment became a real concern, prompting Victoria and John to install security cameras around their home. They also sought a restraining order, documenting every encounter to build their case. The local animal rescue community rallied around them, offering support and resources. When the court date finally arrived, they stood strong, presenting their evidence and sharing Thor's story. The judge's ruling was a victory, but it was more than a legal win. It was a validation of their love and dedication. Thor's former owner was ordered to stay away, and he was investigated for his treatment of other animals. The community celebrated the outcome, and Emily's family held a small gathering in their backyard. Friends, neighbors, and fellow dog lovers came together, bringing treats and gifts for Thor. As the sun set, Emily stood before the group, holding a microphone. "Thank you, everyone, for believing in Thor and in us," she said. "Thor showed me that love can heal, that patience can change lives, and that every creature deserves a chance to feel safe and loved. He is my best friend, my hero, and I am so proud to be his person." As the crowd cheered, Thor barked happily, his deep voice carrying across the yard. It was a sound of triumph, a proclamation of his new life, a life where he was cherished, where he was home. And as Emily hugged him, surrounded by love and support, she knew their story was just beginning. Together, they would continue to inspire, to spread hope, and to show the world the transformative power of kindness. Suddenly, a loud noise shattered the peaceful afternoon. The neighbor's cat had been startled by a car backfiring. It darted across the yard and sent Thor into a frenzy. He took off after the cat, barking wildly. Emily tried to stop Thor, running after him, her small legs struggling to keep up. In the chaos, she didn't notice an approaching car speeding down the street. Victoria and John's hearts leapt into their throats as they saw Emily chasing Thor. They shouted, but their voices were drowned out by the car's roar and the dog's barking. Sorry for the interruption. Before we continue with the story, I kindly ask you to like the video and subscribe to this channel. It is very important for us. Thank you very much. In that split second, Thor's protective instincts took over. He perceived the danger long before Emily was aware of it. As the car sped dangerously close, he spun around and dashed back toward her with incredible speed. With a mighty leap, he pushed her out of the vehicle's path just in time. The car screeched to a halt, the driver's face pale with shock. Victoria and John rushed to Emily's side. She was dazed but unharmed, clinging to Thor, who stood protectively over her. He nuzzled her gently, licking her face as if to reassure her that she was safe. From that day on, Thor's place in the family was solidified. His courageous act changed the way Victoria and John saw him. He was no longer just a rescue dog with a troubled past. He was a loyal protector and a beloved member of their family, willing to go to great lengths to keep them safe. One day, during a walk, Thor suddenly froze and began to growl. Emily looked up and saw a man approaching. It was the same vendor from the market who had kept Thor chained and neglected. The man's eyes narrowed as he recognized the dog. "So that's where you ended up," he sneered, his tone cold and sharp. Emily tightened her grip on Thor's leash, feeling the tension radiating from him. She knew she had to stay composed. "Thor is my dog now," she said with quiet determination. "You can't take him back." The man let out a scoff, his voice dripping with arrogance. "He was my dog first," he retorted. "You had no right to take him." Emily didn't waver, her voice steady as she met his gaze. "You didn't take care of him," she replied firmly. "He deserved better." The man took a step closer. Thor growled more fiercely, positioning himself protectively in front of Emily. The man threatened to involve the authorities, even accusing her of stealing his dog. Emily's mind raced. She knew the man had no claim, but the confrontation was unnerving. "Go ahead," she replied. We have proof of how you treated him. You won't get him back." The man glared at her, then turned and walked away, muttering under his breath. Emily let out a shaky breath and knelt beside Thor. She hugged him tightly. "It's okay. He won't hurt you ever again." The incident shook Emily, but it also strengthened her resolve. She knew she had to be vigilant and protect Thor from anyone who might try to take him away. She discussed the encounter with her parents, and they reassured her that they would support her and keep Thor safe. On a bright and sunny Saturday, the local community hosted a pet fair and dog show. Emily's family chose to take part in the event. It was an opportunity to showcase Thor's progress and enjoy a day out together. The fair was bustling with activity when they arrived. Booths lined the park, offering pet supplies, treats, and information about animal care. The air was filled with excited barks and laughter as dogs of all shapes and sizes mingled with their owners. Emily was overjoyed to attend and excited to see how Thor would adapt to the unfamiliar setting. As they wandered through the bustling fair, they came across a booth showcasing a tracking and agility demonstration. Emily's eyes sparkled with enthusiasm as she took in the display. "Can we try this, Mommy?" she asked, looking up at her mother with hopeful eyes. Victoria smiled and nodded. They approached the booth, and a friendly instructor greeted them. He asked if they wanted to see if their dog had any hidden talents. Emily nodded enthusiastically. The instructor guided them to the agility course, set up with tunnels, jumps, and weaving poles. "Let's begin with a few simple agility drills and see how Thor performs," he suggested. Emily led Thor to the starting line, her heart pounding with excitement. She had never tried agility with him before, but she had a feeling he might surprise everyone. She whispered in his ear, asking if he was ready. Thor's ears perked up, and he wagged his tail eagerly. As soon as Emily signaled, Thor bolted forward with determination. He moved through the course with remarkable agility and grace, soaring effortlessly over the jumps, threading smoothly through the poles, and dashing through the tunnels with speed and accuracy that left everyone stunned. The crowd watched in awe as he completed the course faster than anyone had expected. Emily beamed with pride. She had always known her dog was special, but seeing him excel in the agility course was beyond her wildest dreams. The news of Thor's hidden talent spread quickly through the fair. People who had once viewed him as just a rescued dog now saw him as a star. Emily's family received numerous offers from trainers and agility clubs. Everyone was eager to help Thor reach his full potential. The discovery of his talent opened up new possibilities for Emily and her beloved dog. They began training with the local agility club, and Thor's progress was astounding. He quickly became a favorite among the trainers, but the excitement surrounding his newfound agility talent was soon overshadowed by a troubling development. The previous owner, emboldened by Thor's success, began to escalate his threats. He started showing up at the park during their training sessions, shouting that Thor belonged to him and that he would take him back by any means necessary. Emily's parents grew increasingly concerned for their daughter's safety and for Thor's well-being. They decided it was time to take legal action to secure the dog's place in their family permanently. They contacted a lawyer specializing in animal rights cases. During their initial consultation, the lawyer, Miss Patterson, listened carefully to their story. "You have a solid case," she said confidently. "The key will be to collect as much evidence as you can of Thor's past mistreatment and demonstrate how well he is doing in your care." Victoria and John began collecting everything they could to support their case. They had taken detailed photographs of Thor's condition when they first rescued him, including his matted fur, protruding ribs, and sad eyes. They also gathered vet records showing his health improvements and testimonials from neighbors, friends, and trainers who had witnessed Thor's transformation. Emily was determined to help as well. She wrote a heartfelt letter describing her bond with Thor and the positive changes she had seen in him. "Thor is my best friend," she wrote with heartfelt sincerity. "He saved my life, and I love him deeply. Please don't let anyone take him away from me." The legal process was daunting, and the court case was looming. To add to their stress, the local agility competition was fast approaching. It was an important event where Thor could showcase his talent and further prove how well he had adjusted to his new life. Despite the tension, Emily and Thor continued their training. Emily's heart pounded every time she saw the previous owner lurking nearby, but she drew strength from her love for Thor and her determination to keep him safe. On the day of the competition, the air was electric. Dozens of dogs and their owners gathered, ready to compete in various events. As they waited for their turn, Emily noticed the previous owner standing on the sidelines, glaring at them. She took a deep breath and focused on Thor. "We can do this," she whispered gently, "just like we practiced." When the announcer called their names, Emily and Thor walked onto the course with determination. The crowd grew silent, anticipation filling the air. Emily gave the signal, and Thor sprang into motion. He soared over the jumps, weaved through the poles, and raced through the tunnels with a grace that took everyone's breath away. As they crossed the finish line, the crowd erupted in applause. Emily beamed with pride, and Thor wagged his tail excitedly. The competition's judges were impressed. One of them, a renowned dog trainer, approached Emily. "You and Thor are an outstanding pair," he commented. "He's an exceptional dog, and you've done an impressive job training him." The day of the hearing finally arrived. Emily gripped Thor's leash tightly. The previous owner was there, scowling and muttering under his breath. Miss Patterson presented their case confidently. She highlighted Thor's progress and the loving care he had received from Emily's family. The judge listened attentively, reviewing the photographs, vet records, and testimonials. Emily's letter was read aloud, bringing tears to many eyes in the courtroom. Finally, the judge turned to the previous owner. "The evidence clearly shows that Thor was neglected and abused under your care. He has thrived with his new family, and it is in his best interest to remain with them." The previous owner protested, but the judge was firm. "Your behavior has demonstrated that you are unfit to care for this dog," the judge declared. "The court rules in favor of Emily's family. Thor will remain with them permanently." The court ruling was a significant victory for Emily and her family, but the story didn't end there. Following the hearing, the judge ordered an investigation into Thor's previous owner. What emerged shocked everyone and solidified the community's support for Emily and Thor. It was revealed that the man had a history of animal maltreatment. Several other animals had suffered under his care. Witnesses came forward with testimonies about his cruel behavior, and the local news picked up the story. The story spread like wildfire, triggering a surge of public outrage. The details of Thor's past mistreatment rallied the community into action. Neighbors, friends, and even strangers united around Emily's family, pledging to ensure Thor's former owner would never be able to mistreat another animal. Did you enjoy this story? Have you ever rescued an animal from abandonment or a sad life? Is it possible to totally rescue an animal that has been abused? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked the story, Please subscribe to this channel and leave a like. Emily and Thor's story teaches us that it is possible to live happily with our animals, despite a history of mistreatment. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Have a great day.